We did a video like this 6 months ago at the beginning of 2024, and I'm back with another installment of what I'm calling 10 of my holy grail fragrances that I'd recommend to a beginner. Now, immediately this video might confuse some of you guys because typically when you think of videos aimed at beginners to fragrance, you do not think of the fragrances that I'm going to share with you. And to explain it to you briefly, the reason why is because when I was a beginner, and I think many of you guys who've been in this game a few years or even just a few months can relate to this, I was getting all the low-hanging fruit. I was grabbing everything that was being recommended to me from multiple sources. So if I saw a bunch of people talking about one fragrance, I was most likely going to try it or buy it, and I was amassing a collection of fragrances that weren't really me. They didn't cater to my taste. It wasn't my collection. It was just a collection. And almost all of those fragrances, we're talking dozens and dozens of them, are no longer in my collection. So if I could go back, I would not redo my fragrance journey the same way it started, and therefore I would not recommend it to a beginner. You don't have to go out and buy all of the easy breezy beast mode panty dropper versatile blue freshy out the shower fragrances to build a collection. That is not necessary. Now, there's nothing wrong with having those fragrances in your collection as long as you love them, but I don't think you absolutely have to start there. I've compiled a selection of 10 fragrances that I truly love, that I would truly recommend to anyone, but some of them are not going to be for the beginner, so to speak. There might be fragrances you have to grow into with time, which is why I cannot stress enough how important it is to start with samples and decants. Some of these fragrances here are a little bit expensive if we're talking about the full bottles, but you have no business concerning yourself with the price of a full bottle until you know that you love or don't love the decant. And to keep practicality at the heart of this video, I've divvied the 10 fragrances here into 10 different life categories or scenarios. You'll see them here on screen, and I'll dive into each one of them as we go. So again, it's not just about a good smell, it's about fragrances that you can wear out into the world in your daily life, doing whatever it is that you do. So with all that out the way, let's dive into these 10 holy grails. Our first category is the easy grab. Just as it sounds, this is a fragrance that you shouldn't really have to think about. Some people might call it a dumb reach. No one's dumb here. So I'm going with easy grab. You pick it up, you spray it, you go. No matter how long it's on your skin, whether it's 2 hours, whether it's 8 hours, it doesn't matter. You don't have to worry about it. You know you smell great. But I wanted to choose something that I do find a little bit special. Easy to get, but not generic and run-of-the-mill. From Narciso Rodriguez, this is their newest fragrance. They call it For Him Vetiver Musc. This fragrance recently clicked with me. I need to be honest with you. When I first tried it, I liked it, but it just wasn't quite making it over the hump for me. It wasn't getting over the hill. I was almost kind of forgetting about it. I actually just recently wore this a couple days ago, and again, something clicked. I was smelling it throughout the day, 5-6 hours later, and it was the vibe I was getting and how it was making me feel that just made me love it. This is a fresh, green, woody fragrance. There is a dryness like dry woods. There is a pretty prominent musky quality, which this line is known for. It does kind of envelop the scent. It's something that creates this texture. When you smell it, you feel it, and you'll know what I mean. It is mostly a fresh, green, dry, woody fragrance with a lot of musk, and it just smells fantastic. You can wear it for any occasion all year round. That's what makes this an easy grab. That is For Him Vetiver Musc from Narciso Rodriguez. Our next category is work. Now, when people think of work, they often think of office or some kind of professional setting. That may be the case for many of you guys, but I know it's not the case for all of you guys. So this doesn't have to fit that. This could just be something you want to wear when you want to be taken seriously, when you want to have some kind of sophistication to you, but it doesn't mean you're going into an office dressed in a suit. That is not necessarily what I'm going for here. From Ormonde, Jayne, this is Montabaco Intensivo. This stuff just smells really good, kind of simple, but definitive, and it just has this refined vibe that will have you taken seriously again, but doesn't come off too serious, if that makes sense. There is this fresh kind of mountain air feeling to this otherwise citrus-based, dry, woody, fresh tobacco fragrance. It has some aroma chemicals that kind of act as a glue and as a membrane to the scent that personify how it ultimately comes across when you smell it. You do smell some natural elements, but the way they come together honestly is not natural smelling all that much, but it works perfectly for the vibe that this gives off, and it characterizes this collection of fragrances in general. It gives them an identity that again makes them definitive. Ormonde, Jayne, Montabaco Intensivo is going to make you smell very sophisticated and fresh fresh, approachable, but in a way that maybe makes you a little bit more memorable. Let me know if you dig this one already, and if you haven't tried it, there's going to be links to everything down in the description. Up next is Relax. You want a fragrance when you're just going to be really doing not much of anything, maybe just hanging out at home, maybe hanging out with friends, not really trying to impress anyone, but you still want to smell nice. This is a fragrance I would recommend for that. I think a fresh scent is always a great way to go for that, no matter the time of year. This is from Bon Parfumeur. They call this 803. Embrun, gingembre, and patchouli, which I believe is ocean spray, ginger, and patchouli. And that is mostly what you get here, but it doesn't smell basic. There's something simple about it. It also doesn't remind me exactly of anything else. It is this warm, spicy ginger freshened up by this refreshing ocean spray feel. It does smell like ocean air with a little bit of damp patchouli behind it, maybe some other things going on in there, maybe a woodiness. It just smells clean, but a little bit different, and it's very, very easygoing. Again, perfect for relaxing if you want that vibe. This is from Bon Parfumeur 803. Let me know if you dig it. For a casual day out, this is one of my absolute favorite fragrances. I've loved it for many years, but I only just got it in my collection. I would love to know how you guys feel about this one. It is a little bit of a classic. It's been around for a little bit. From Olfactive Studio, this is Still Life in Rio. Once again, I've loved this stuff for a long time. It reminds me of this sugary mojito, not too sweet. I get a fresh minty vibe. It is boozy and bright. There's this crushed sugar feel, almost the texture of like sugar granules, if you can imagine such a thing. Maybe some coconut in there, making it a little bit tropical. It is an easygoing fragrance. It's one that's perfect under the sun, when it's warm, and when things are casual, when you're just having a good time. If you want to have this uplifting, kind of happy, jovial feel to your mood and to your day with your fragrance, this is one you gotta check out. This will be a timeless love for me. From Olfactive Studio, Still Life in Rio. Gonna have it linked down below, maybe with a little discount. For a casual night out, this is when you want to have a little bit of a sexy feel, but it's still casual. You're not necessarily on a date here. That is for an upcoming category, so you're not really trying to impress anyone, but you do want to have a fun, playful, yet somewhat seductive feel. Brioni EDP Intense. I would totally recommend this. Super under the radar in terms of this whole collection. Not sure why. While this does have some of the typical characteristics of a playful night out scent, like being both fresh and spicy and sweet, it ultimately does have a little bit of a gentlemanly vibe. It does have some refinement to it. So it's not a reckless scent. It's not wild, but it's confident and sexy, all while being fun. Apple, maybe some tonka beans, some woods. I think oud is in here technically, but it adds beautifully to this scent, adding this air of mystery to it that makes it a little bit darker. Beautiful for a casual night out. Let me know if you enjoyed this one. Brioni EDP Intense. Now let's talk about date night. You want to smell delectable to your significant other, or maybe it's a first date. This is a great way to go, and you don't need much of it. This stuff is pretty potent, so less is more, because you know you might have closer proximity to the person you're with. You don't have to choke them out with a strong fragrance. This is Saja from Loumari. This is a pretty strong fragrance, so you know 1 to 2 sprays honestly is all you're gonna need, and it is so luxurious. If you want to smell expensive, you can consider this. This is a beautiful rose oud fragrance with something chocolatey about it. I don't think there is overtly chocolate in here. It might be patchouli or something, but it smells like rose oud and chocolate, and there's this silky smooth texture to the scent. The way it enters the nostrils, it's so smooth. I think there's a little bit of fruitiness in here too. This beautiful almost raspberry or something in there that just smells very, very, again, delectable, easy to be next to. Again, it smells so elegant. Check this one out if you haven't already. I'm gonna have some details maybe for a discount down below. From Loumari Saja, this is probably my favorite from the house so far. Formal. You want to wear something that simply smells upscaled. You're gonna dress up, you want the scent to match. So something that will have you stand out from the crowd, but we're saving a true standout fragrance for the next category. For now, from Thameen, we have Chords. I do believe this is their newest release, 2024. This is kind of an odd fragrance. In fact, I was almost going to make this standout fragrance in this video until I decided to choose the next one as a standout because it's even more. So this is still pretty standout, but less so than the next one. So perfect for formal. Whew. This is an eyebrow raiser. This is an odd scent. On the top, on the surface, there is this kind of citrus aromatic vibe, almost like your standard Italian cologne feel. Citruses and maybe some neroli or some kind of white floral that does smell clean and bright and maybe even a little soapy, but that is engulfed by honey and tobacco and these richer elements. It is pretty rich and sticky, almost smells like Immortelle to me. I did a video on Immortelle within the past couple months. You can check it out here. And I included this in there, even though it technically doesn't have the illustrious note of Immortelle in it, it does kind of represent it in a way with the combination of ingredients that are here. It's a potent scent. It's a very definitive scent personality. This is one that is very specific. You might not like this. And for most of you guys, if you happen to get a sample and you spray it on your hand and you smell it up close, good luck. Let it breathe. It will choke you out. It is so weird, I'm telling you, but it's beautiful. And I've never smelled anything like this. Perfect for a formal occasion when you want to dress your best and make yourself memorable, even if no one says anything about your scent. It's okay. You know you smell amazing as long as you love the scent. That is Chords from Thameen. Gonna have a link down below to check out this very special fragrance. Now let's talk about the Standout. This is a fragrance that may not get a ton of wear out of me. Even though I love the scent, I think it's an incredible fragrance. It's kind of enrapturing. The way it just captures me, it captivates me, but I can't wear this everywhere. When I really want to stand out, I will throw this on and I might do 2 sprays at the very most. This is the newest from Amouage at this point in time. This is Guidance 46. I think this is a stunning fragrance. It is such a vibe. This is such a vibe. It just kind of speaks its own language when it's on your skin, when it's around you. I might wear this once a year. I'm just being honest. I haven't had it that long, but moving forward, I'm gonna hold on to this and I may not get a ton of wear out of it, but it is beautiful. It's kind of hard to describe. It is a very musky fragrance with a lot of rose, some pear, woody, nutty elements to it, almost gourmand, but it's mostly like musky floral, very dense, very powerful, very diffusive, and extremely long lasting. It will fill a room. Now, let's do a quiz. Should you go buy this fragrance because of what I just said about its performance? Here are your choices on screen. I'd like to say there's no wrong answer. Get a sample of this. Again, don't stick your nose in it right away. It's gonna grab your face, it's gonna wring you out and throw you against the wall. Beautiful fragrance. You might not like it, but if you do happen to like it, you are gonna stand out from everyone around you wearing this. That is Guidance 46. Just wow. This is a wow scent. Next is my guilty pleasure. Now, what is this all about? This is a fragrance that I necessarily would not tell people I'm wearing with pride, like, oh yeah, I'm wearing one of my favorite fragrances and it's this and it's amazing and it's really special. This is not anything special. That's why it's kind of a guilty pleasure. I'm not going to shout it from the rooftops, but I do enjoy the scent.
So don't tell anyone, even though I'm telling everyone.
From Boucheron. You don't hear about this one. This is Singulier. This is a blue fragrance. As it looks, this is a blue shower gel leaning fresh fragrance. Honestly, in the vein of something like Bleu de Chanel. It smells pretty close to like the EDP or Parfum, maybe in between EDP and Parfum of Bleu de Chanel. There's a fresh shower gel cleanliness to it. Does smell blue and almost ocean fresh, but not necessarily salty and aquatic. But there's a smoothness here, and that's what I like about this. It's almost creamy, but not overtly creamy. It's very smooth and round, less than the Parfum of Bleu de Chanel, but more than the EDP. Not much else to say about it, honestly, because it's a simple scent. Maybe there's some aromatic geranium. I could break it down for you, but that's not going to help you. Just know that it smells a little bit like Bleu de Chanel, but very smooth and kind of has something a little bit different. It's not a one-to-one, but it is definitely cheaper if that is something of interest to you. That is Boucheron Singulier. I'm going to link it down below if you want to check it out. I got mine from fragrancebuy.ca. The final category is probably the weirdest one. I call this the anti-fragrance, anti-fragrance, however you want to say it. This is a scent that you wear when you don't necessarily want to come off like you're wearing a scent. You want something that kind of blends in with your natural skin or natural vibe. It doesn't smell like you sprayed on some heavy rose or something with oud or something with lots of citruses. This honestly smells like soap. It smells like you took a bath. This is from a Turkish brand called Regalien Istanbul, and they call this Hammam, which I do think is Turkish for bath. or bathroom or something. But I think culturally, hammam is known as this therapeutic experience, maybe, where you're getting a massage with soap and bubbles in some kind of bathhouse. I've only seen pictures of it. It looks like an awesome time. I'd love to do it someday. So if you've done it, let us know what that's like. But this smells like clean, luxurious, bubbly soap. It's musky, it's fresh and soapy. There's notes here on the screen like lemongrass and things. I don't really get the breakdown. I just get clean, fresh soap, and it blends in. It lasts a good while on the skin, but it doesn't project a ton, which I think is in its favor for this category. Anti-fragrance. You just want to smell clean in a way that doesn't smell like you sprayed something on. This is a great one to consider. Now, it's not necessarily cheap. For some of you guys, it might be out of your budget, which is why, as I talked about in the beginning of the video, you may want to consider getting a sample first. You don't need to even think about the full price of the bottle. Get you a decant. I will link below what I can find. Hopefully, I can find something that you can grab if you're interested in a fragrance like this. But that's my anti-fragrance. I'm actually wearing this today. I'm loving it. I'm going to put on something else later, but for now, the last several hours, I really enjoyed wearing Regalien Hammam. Let me know if you enjoy this one. All right, those are 10 of my holy grails that I would recommend to a beginner. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'd love to know what you think of my recommendations down in the comments. And once again, if you haven't tried any of them, they will be linked in the description. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. Peace. I'll see you in the next one.